Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look, finally, at the new Tier 6 American Battleship, North Carolina. So with that being said, let's jump into the commander. We're running William Sims, we are running Azure Lane Scharnhorst and Andrew Cunningham as our inspirations. We are running Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, and Reaching Out XXL. We also are running the Will to Rebuild legendary perk. Okay. We are running AA Guns Mod 2, Steering Gears Mod 2, and we're running the Target Acquisition Mod. We are fully upgraded, as you can see. And if we get in here, we can see that we are running the spotter plane as our choice. Okay, we have the permanent camo that you get out of the Stars and Stripes campaign, the most recent one. I also have the community contributor flagging on here as well. Alright, so survivability. You have 60,400 hit points, and you have a 19% torpedo damage reduction. You have 406mm Mark 6 main guns. You have 9 of them in a 3x3 configuration. 17.8 kilometer firing range with a 32-second reload time. 180-degree turn time is just 32.7, which is pretty freaking good. HE shell maximum damage is 5,700 with a 36% chance to set fires. And the AP shell maximum damage is 14,410. For secondaries, you have 20 127mm Mark 32 secondaries that reach out 4.5 kilometers, reload in 6 seconds, do 1,800 maximum HE shell damage, and have a 5% chance to set fires. AA defense is almost maxed out. You have 44 20mm Oerlikon Mark 4s that do 158 damage per second and reach out to 2.5 kilometers. Then you have the 40mm Bofors Mark 2s that you have 60 of that do 238 damage per second and reach out 4.2 kilometers. And then you have the 127mm dual-purpose Mark 32s that you have 20 of those doing 151 damage per second and they reach out to 6 kilometers. Maneuverability, 24.3 knot top speed, so not bad, not slow, but not fast. Turning circle radius is 760 meters, right there with the Alabama and Massachusetts, right there in the wheelhouse. A little bit slower, I think, but that's mainly because the rudder shift is like 1 second slower. So it's not horrendous. And like I said, the rudder shift time is 15.6 seconds, which is like a second and a half behind the Alabama, Massachusetts. Concealment, 13.8 kilometers detectability by sea is actually fantastic, considering we don't get to use the concealment system mod, or concealment mod. So 13.8 kilometer surface detection on a American battleship with 16-inch guns. Yes, please. You are going to enjoy this ship if you like American battleships. This is a sneaky American battleship. Make no mistake about it. Detectability, okay, let's try this again. Guaranteed detectability is always 2, 11.5 by air, 13.8 by sea, and then the 13.9 smoke firing penalty. Let's look at the armor. This is where you're gonna struggle again. Those of you who have seen the Florida and them, you guys already know what this is. The 25mm bow. Pretty much every Tier 6 battleship has it, with the exception of the Germans. But yeah, it's not preferable. It means anything 15 inches and larger can just overmatch your bow and go straight through. Meaning bow tanking doesn't really do you any good. So as always, you want to kind of lift your skirt, try to get them to shoot at the belt armor if you can, by over angling. And if you over angle and they start shooting at your belt, you'll have a lot better success. And then, of course, you've got the same weakness that the Colorado and everybody also has, where if you are not careful, that Citadel does creep up in there quite a ways into that thin armor. And if you're over-angled and they catch you from, say, right here, they can easily punch through and Citadel you. So keep that in mind. But that doesn't happen very often. It takes somebody who actually knows what they're doing to exploit that up close and personal. Most people don't. Let's just be real. But much like any other American battleship, you are going to get Citadel'd if you go broadside in this thing. So don't play with it. Okay? Show a little bit of the skirt. Get them to shoot at your belt, and then close the angle on them, and deflect a lot of those rounds. But don't just sit there and bow in on anybody, because 25 millimeters is not enough. Alright, so let's look at it. Agile, above average ability to change direction, we already talked about. Sticky shot, reduced ricochet chance. Greater chance of penetrating enemy ship armor at sharper angles. That's the American super heavy AP. And then the sluggish shot, difficult to aim at long distance, but the trajectory allows for effective fire from cover. North Carolina, the first U.S. battleship of the new generation. The key advantage over her predecessors of this type was significantly increased speed. In contrast to preceding ships of the same type, she featured a thinner armor belt, but had very solid horizontal armor protection and a superior AA armament, including numerous dual-purpose artillery. She entered service in 1941. There were 2 of them in the series. Okay, I'm trying to think. It was North Carolina. I should know this from my War on the Sea, guys. Come on, It was North Carolina and... oh, God. Washington? Does that sound right? Anyway, I can't remember. Somebody will let me know down in the comments below, because that's what you guys are amazing at. But with that being said, let's take a look at this beautiful ship. Which, by the way, is a museum ship that you can go down to North Carolina and visit yourself. They got quite a lot of goodies on there. And it's one of the few ships that still maintains its configuration from World War II. So there's a lot more of the AA and stuff on board that you'll be able to see than on, say, the Iowas, because the Iowas were refitted later after the war. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of cool things that you might be able to find on North Carolina that you can't necessarily find on the Iowa classes. If you like museum ships, they're out there, man. So, with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we are going to be on Tears of the Desert, and we're in the North Carolina. Now, you guys knew I couldn't do this one sooner due to the fact that I just never got it out of a crate, and I wasn't spending any more money on it. So, yeah, now we're getting a chance to take a look at it. I'm not going to lie to you guys right off the bat. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This team, interesting. Especially the people that are with me in this side. But also, the enemy team, more interesting. And make some really, really interesting plays. And we're going to take full advantage of them. Now, obviously, we spawn on the right side. What do we always do, folks? Win your side, or at least try to. So, we're going to march over to Charlie and see if we can't get in and do some work right off the bat. Now, there are going to be some keys in this one that are going to kind of tip the hand of the enemy. And there's also going to be a lot of me baiting people in. And you'll see that in a little bit too. Now there's this island ahead that's at Charlie really does come in handy. Of course, the Byron that's with me, he's got grass is always greener on the other side, right? So he's going to run clear across the map to try to do something. I don't know what he's doing. So we're not going to get any help from him. So it's just me, a destroyer that's heading this direction, and a cruiser. Now, the destroyer that's heading in this direction, I'm not going to lie, This guy has no idea what he's doing. Just gonna throw that out there. Like, dude has no idea what he's doing. He's in a Benson, and I'm guessing that he's new to the Benson, but just straight up has no idea what he's doing. And that's not a knock against him. I'm not just trying to be a jerk or anything. Like, oh my God, Pensacola spotted, broadside, over the mountain, through the woods. Can we get the shot off? Come on, Spartan. You're on the clock. He throws the plane up too. He must be pretty confident in auto aim's ability to hit the target. Wait for it. Yeah, I was wrong. Y'all knew that was coming though, right? Anyway, we've got Warspite over here getting ready to shoot over the island at us. And you'll notice first thing that I'm going to see about the Warspite here is he's shooting HE. Interesting choice. Interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for him. Alright, so then we see an Ashitaka out here. Again, angled, giving up the juiciest shot you can give him. And we reach out and smack him for about 15k right off the bat. Now, we are still spotted. I make the improper assumption of thinking that the destroyer is actually in the middle of the map. But he's not. He's right out here. Both of the destroyers on the enemy team are on this side of the map. But this is where the bait comes in. I am heavily outnumbered and outgunned on this side, right? We've got 2 battleships that have decided to come over here, I guess. So maybe I'm not as outgunned as I thought I was. But it sure felt like I was outgunned. It felt like it was me versus the world over here. So we're playing pretty safe. Nuremberg gives up the ghost over here, makes himself the juiciest target known to mankind. We clutch shot that and pow! Goodbye, sunshine. Go back to port. You do not pass go, do not collect $200. And we get our first death strike in the North Carolina. I think you can see where this one is going. This is going to be one of those matches where people just do some really dumb things. Nuremberg being the first thing around the corner. I don't care what range you think you are. Oh, hello. Let's go ahead and throw her in reverse. Get out of the way of that torpedo. There we go. Not a whole lot of dodging necessary there, just a little bit. Let's get out the way. Now you can see clearly where the enemy destroyer is, right? I have a cruiser and a destroyer right there. But then I've got this Florida and this Ashitaka like sitting right on top of each other. So I gotta oblige them. And we reach out and we punch both of them in the mouth. Getting 8 full penetration, well 8 penetration total out of 9 shells between the 2 ships. And then because of that, Ashitaka now takes the lead. And Ashitaka is actually going to get touched. I could have had an even better game here. But somebody's going to smash this Ashitaka right before I do, I think. Yep, there it is. And even though we get this shot off, unfortunately, he'd already lost all of his hit points. That's going to limit how much damage we end up getting on this side. But you can see that the torpedoes are still coming from over there. And once again, not a lot of dodging necessary here. Just kind of back up, let it pass. No reason to go too crazy. Florida does reach out and touch me here, I believe. Yeah, he gets a nice little chunk off of me. We're going to go ahead and use our first of the 3 heals. And then we fire the front guns in retaliation. And I think we hit him a lot harder than he hit us. And here you can see I'm trying to get the rear guns involved so that I can finish the guy off. And unfortunately, he's going to burn to death before I actually get to finish him. But you'll notice that there's a second destroyer that has creeped up into my AO. Right on the other side of the island from it. You can see it's a Benson. Okay, so now I've got close range destroyer. We've got the Warspite here. That's the only battleship left. So I'm not afraid of him, especially knowing that he's already shot me with HE once. So I'm going to come out and start getting my ship moving. And this is actually going to get me caught really, really badly. And give me a little bit of a chance to get into chat and be like, guys, why are you just sitting around letting these destroyers sit here? Like, why am I the only one that's, like, shooting anything? Obviously, the battleship shot something. He shot the one battleship, but we get a good shot off at the worst fight right there, showcasing that he was a little too open. And now, of course, the Benson recognizes that I'm on the move, and I have every intention of turning all the way out here, but then I was like, I could probably hit this guy. And so it's going to cause me to stay here a little longer than I should, and run alongside these torpedoes. And that's something you never want to do. Why? Because he's not the only torpedo boat over here, is he? No, he's not. And so now I've got myself into a bit of a pickle because I have a Fubuki on one side dropping torps over here on me. And I've got the freaking torps I'm not going to be able to dodge forever as we take all the torps from half of the things. And then, of course, the Fubuki manages to get another one into us. And that's why I don't use the emergency specialist anymore. Because of that. You notice how long that cooldown was, that period of not getting a new flood or anything? That's a long time. You take and cut that by 70% when you take and do that. Now, obviously, I have will to rebuild going. I'm right next to my teammates, so got that going for us. Benson's getting punched in the mouth. Our little destroyer friend here is finally deciding to shoot at things too, which is nice. Instead of just sitting out here in the open waters and watching me obliterate everything. But he ends up killing the enemy Benson. Of course, we see more torpedoes coming in. Knew that was coming, right? We're going to try to thread the needle, folks. Torp beats enabled. Yep. Just barely. She's a thick girl, but we managed to get her turned in just enough to avoid that one. But that could have been real bad if it would have been it would have almost guaranteed been a flood, because every torpedo ever is. But look at this guy. Where is the other destroyer, guys? Right? He's in the same place he's been the entire game. He's right out there in the middle of the open ocean. This guy should have twist and track on and go straight to him. But he's not running twist and track, obviously. And that's going to be even more apparent here in a moment when this guy actually starts shooting at me and dropping smoke and shooting from the smoke at me. And this guy has to, like, go find him. It was baffling to me. I honestly don't understand it. But you can see the guy's still launching torpedoes all along the spread. And again, this is one of those where I'm going to have to sit here and wait for these torpedoes to pass. And start to get a little worried that I may have goobered here. As I slow down, I want these to pass in front of me. And sure enough, we goofed. But luckily they ran out. So we get lucky. I'll take it. And we had ourselves a pretty solid game. We've got 15 planes shot down. We've got 3 secondary hits. We've got an assist capture. The guy is firing his guns at me now. He's dropping smoke. He's firing his guns. And you can see our friendly destroyer finally figures out where he's at. So now he's going to go over there and hopefully get rid of him. And we're going to get ourselves out of the way of potentially more torpedoes. The last ones ran out. These ones probably won't. Don't count on being lucky twice. Okay? Just count your cards that you were lucky and get out of there. But as you can see, like, they don't have much they don't have a whole lot of good things going for them if they try to drop torps and stuff on me. But Fubuki out there dodging all the torpedoes of his own, or his own torpedoes finally. And he's getting shot at by the Benson, who's going to be able to put a hurting on him. And then I'm going to take a shot out at him just in case. You know, just to help maybe hit him. But unfortunately, we end up hitting everywhere except his ship. Again, you gotta love it. But you'll have that sometimes. Anyway, what is my first impression of the North Carolina? It's a fine ship. It's a fine ship. I'd say it's probably at least as good as the Colorado, probably better than Colorado. I think most people would probably agree with that. It's certainly faster than Colorado, which is nice. So, I'll let you guys decide. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of the North Carolina. Personally, I think it's a fine ship. It does everything you need it to do. Now we get a shot at the Ranger here, the last man alive. He's already lost all of his hit points, but we get to come in on cleanup, and we break over 130,000 damage. So, not a bad first outing in the North Carolina. 130,000 Dreadnought, Dev Strike, High Cal, not too shabby. Top of the leaderboard, 2,400 base XP. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.